Hey guys, this is Jeff Page from Heartland Customs in Oklahoma, and we've been getting a lot of requests over email and social media about kind of doing just a walk around of the vehicles that we build here at Heartland Customs. Everything here is basically a original bodied car, whether it's a Corvette, Camaro, Chevelle, truck, you name it, we can do it. But the whole idea is basically to make it function like today, but make it look just like it did the day that it was new, regardless of what year, what body style it is. I thought it'd be kind of cool to just do a really informal walk around. I've got this fancy little gimbal device that allows me to use my iPhone camera here in kind of a smooth way so that you don't have seizures and stuff trying to watch my video as I walk around with a shaky camera. So real informal video. It's going to be kind of lengthy, but that's going to be what it takes to really kind of wrap your mind around what we do here and the level of cars that we build, and all the crazy attention to detail and modern conveniences and everything that we integrate into these cars, but we keep everything hidden away so that it looks period correct. So the car for today is Paul's 1958 SPECVETTE Corvette. This is an original bodied 1958 Corvette that we built for Paul, and it's a Spec V level build. So these cars are built in partnership with the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They're a serialized car with a certificate of authenticity from the museum. You can take museum delivery on these cars just like you can a new Corvette, say from your local Chevrolet dealership. You have an R8C option that you choose, and you pay for that option, and then you fly to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you actually take delivery of your new Corvette on the floors of the National Corvette Museum, which is across the street from the General Motors assembly plant. So these are the only Resto Mod Corvettes that are built in partnership with the National Corvette Museum and have that museum delivery option. So pretty cool. You fly your family in, and this car would be sitting there with a cover over it, and the first time you get to see it all finished up is in the halls of the National Corvette Museum amongst some of the most famous Corvettes in history, all around you. So really neat deal. They got a webcam and all that so your friends and family can watch from home. So that's what this car is. They are built at a set price. So day one, you know exactly what it's going to cost. And it's not the open checkbook, time and materials, custom one-off build thing, which I found from personal experience can be a freaking nightmare for the builder and the customer, because nobody really knows what it's going to take to build that car until it's finished, because it's a one-of-a-kind car. So we wanted to get rid of that part of it and make it to where you come in, you pick the year model, you pick the model that you want, Corvette, Camaro, whatever it is. You choose the options that you want, you get a price, and then you get to enjoy watching the car being built, and you don't have to worry about when your checkbook's going to stop bleeding. Okay, so every one of these cars, set price, day one, and it doesn't matter, how many hours it takes us to get it to look like what you see right here. You pay the same price. So all the headaches are gone, really. And so this is a Spec V. We set it up like General Motors did so that there's levels. There's stage 1 cars, there's stage 2 cars, which was like our performance model, and then the Spec V, which is kind of like the CTS-V in the Cadillac line. It's got the big horsepower and the bigger brakes and all those things, high performance suspension and things like that. And so this is what this one is this is a Spec V model, SPECVETTE. So kind of walk you around and just show you some of the features of the car. The first thing you'll probably notice on this one is, we'll back up a little bit here so you can see it all, is the colors. So Paul has a C7 Corvette that is cyber gray, has the Kalahari leather option and Kalahari top. And then the third color on his car is called a carbon flash black metallic. And on those C7s, you'll notice it in some of the badging and the little coves and the headrest are that metallic black color. So that's the third color. He wanted this car to match his C7. So what we did is we did it cyber gray, just like his C7. We did the coves You see there inside the trim is the carbon flash black metallic. And then the interior, of course, we did in the Kalahari leather with a Kalahari convertible top. The leather itself, we work with a company called Moore and Giles. They have some of the nicest leather on the planet. The leather that's in this car is actually the same leather line that Gulfstream uses in their $78 million G650 aircraft. So I'm probably 15 feet away and I can smell the leather in this car. It makes the whole shop smell like that every time we pull one of these cars in. So Moore and Giles, that we actually took some Kalahari leather from General Motors and sent it to them, and they color matched it to the original Kalahari leather, and then that is what is inside this car. The convertible top is the actual General Motors Kalahari stay fast type cloth material, so the convertible top is the modern cloth just like the new Corvettes have. So first thing you'll kind of notice here as we walk around is the wheels. See if I can zoom in a little bit here so you can kind of see that. These are made by a company called EVOD out of California. And what we did here is we wanted the hubcap look. You know, we wanted to keep everything looking as original as possible. And so we've done a machined aluminum wheel with EVOD that mimics the original hubcap. It gives you that knockoff look, but we actually have the 5 lug nuts. So that center portion there that says SPECVETTE on it spins off. That brushed backing plate there pulls off, and your lug nuts are back there behind it. So you've got, modern lug nut setup, but with the knockoff look. You can kind of see this is kind of one of those details that nobody really cares about, but we are crazy about details. So you can see the brush finish on that backing plate. If you look at a picture of that 58 through 62 hubcap back there in the C1 Corvettes, the center of those hubcaps had a dull brushed finish to it. So that's what we did here is we fully polished all the aluminum, but then we did the brushed finish on the plate there so that it looks just like that original hubcap. So tires are, new Michelin Pilot Super Sports, Michelin Pilot Super Sports. And Diamondback did some white walls for us on this to give us that original white wall tire look with a high performance tire. And then on top of that, Diamondback actually has a chemical barrier between their white walls and the black wall of the tire. So you remember the old days of having to get bleach white and a scrub brush, maybe SOS pads, and you're scrubbing those white walls to get that brown film off. That was the black rubber leaching through the back, and now that doesn't happen on these. So you're going to get your typical, a little bit of brake dust and things like that, road grime or whatever, but you can actually just spray the white wall with glass cleaner now and wipe it off, whereas you used to have to scrub all that. Now you don't do any of that stuff. So these stay white pretty much all the time. Neat feature, and I love the wheels. I think every one of these cars should have these wheels. Modern wheels look okay on them, depending on what design you're going for the car. But if you're really going for the original look, I think these wheels are perfect. So going on down the car here, I'll kind of turn back around here. You can see the Spec V badge there. That denotes that this is the bad boy. This is the big horsepower car. This one here is about 550 horsepower, which in an original Corvette is all fiberglass. So super lightweight car. Power to weight ratio is enormous. So this thing handles like a Porsche, but the power is nuts inside of it. So super awesome combination. While we're talking about horsepower and performance and things like that, let's talk about like what's underneath this car. So what's underneath this car is basically a modern sports car. You have a full modern chassis underneath it. This car has a roadster shop, fast track IRS chassis underneath it. So you have the full independent rear suspension, independent front suspension. You got a full brand new chassis now that's all boxed rails and everything. So it's super strong. And then it gives you that lower stance. It gives you the Corvette Z06 spindles, so you've got huge brakes on here. You're running 14-inch rotors, drilled slotted rotors from Bear, and you got 6-piston Bear calipers on all 4 corners. So the thing stops on a dime. I mean, it really does. People say this all the time. Oh, it handles like a Porsche. This thing actually handles like a Porsche. So we've driven customers that have, GT2, GT3 Porsches. I'm telling you right now, this thing will hang with those cars. It is unreal, the handling capabilities of this car. But what's crazy is at the same time that it handles like that, you can drive this thing like a touring car, around on Sunday or to the country club or whatever, and it just floats around the road. Like you do, it's not hard. You got a nice sidewall on the tire. I know it kind of looks like a low profile tire, but that's kind of the white wall gives it that illusion. You actually have a nice 40 series sidewall on those tires. So it rides really, really nice. So as I walk on around here, you'll see, of course, fit and finish. I'll kind of go back over here where you can see down the side of this car a little bit now that we're talking about it. Fit and finish, body work. You're not really going to find any better than this. And I know we're kind of patting ourselves on the back here, but everything in this car is done the same way that these multi-million-dollar Riddler cars for the Detroit Autorama are built. All the pieces are meticulously sanded, primed multiple times to get everything perfect. The hood, the doors, the trunk, the deck lid, everything is on this car, mounted on the chassis, everything's shimmed and everything just like it's supposed to be, and everything's long blocked as one continuous piece of fiberglass. So everything flows from one panel to the next perfectly. You don't see any edges sticking out. Your flow from the hood to the fenders to the door to the quarter panel to the trunk to the deck lid, everything flows perfect. And then also all the gaps, like every single panel is gapped to 3/16 of an inch. I've seen some tighter on some cars, especially if you go to SEMA, you see a bunch of these cars, really, really high-end stuff, mostly show stuff, but there's some driver stuff out there too that's super high-end stuff, and the panels are super, super tight. And I feel like 3/16 is like it's the number. Like I feel like it's a really nice looking gap, but you're not so close that you're worried about, especially on a fiberglass car. You get out there and, maybe you're at a Good Guys show or something like that in the summer. You're on the asphalt in Fort Worth, Texas, or Arizona out in Scottsdale shows, and a fiberglass car expands and contracts like crazy with heat. The last thing I want to do is go to open a door and take the edge off of a door or the back edge of a fender or something like that because that fiberglass has expanded. My gaps were so tight. So 3/16 for me is a perfect gap. It gives you a nice show car gap look, but you don't have to worry about any of it being too tight. So all that stuff's done in here. It's all PPG. We use their Deltron line and their Vibrance products. And then everything's, of course, cut and buffed multiple times. I mean, we start at 800 grit and work all the way up to 5,000 grit. And then we use Wizards products to take it all, bring the shine back and get, it's a 3-step process, but I'm telling you that it's super easy once you know how to use all the products really nice, and you just get an incredible shine. That's how we get the look that we've got here. All the trim, the chrome, everything, we use John Wright's custom chrome out of Grafton, Ohio, and all the chrome. We were talking about the multi-million-dollar Riddler cars a minute ago. All the chrome and stainless trim and all that on this car and all the cars that we build here at Heartland Customs are done the same way that those cars are. All the pieces by hand are sit there, and all the pits and everything is taken out and filled and filed and metal worked and then triple chrome plated and fit to the car. You can see right there, like go look at a factory 58 Corvette and you find me headlight bezels that fit the fiberglass like that. You're like, wow, I can't believe that fits like that. Well, it didn't fit like that in 1958. The reason it fits like that is because all those panels were actually put on the car before they went to chrome, and everything was bodywork to those pieces so that even the trim flows into the bodywork perfectly without running into a flat edge. We do that on every car here. So walking on around, you see 1958, you have the washboard hood. You've got that, of course, here. Wiper systems, we use a modern 7-speed delay wiper system, so it keeps the factory look, but you get all the modern stuff there. Keep on walking around here. 58, true Corvette aficionados know that those two trunk pieces of trim right there, they call them the trunk irons. That and the washboard hood is a 1 year only feature. And that is kind of tells you right off the bat right there, it's a 1958 Corvette. So like I said, this is a 58 Corvette body, original body. It's not a kit body. We don't use kit cars here. It's all the real deal. So one cool feature I want to show you here that you would never know unless you had one of the Heartland staff kind of walk you around this thing and show you is that originally the fuel tank was in this compartment right here and right behind the seat. Well, you know, in 2020, we don't want a fuel tank right behind our seat. So we've relocated the fuel tank back here in the back underneath the car like a modern car is. So what that did is that opened up this huge void underneath here. You got the convertible top under there, but underneath that you had a nice large compartment there where the fuel cell was. And so now the subwoofer, the amplifier, the fuse panels, all the modern modules to give us all the modern conveniences that we have in these cars is all in that panel. So you're not crawling up underneath that dash to change a fuse. Now you blow a fuse, something goes crazy, you're popping this open right here, which is 2 leather straps and 1 chrome button right there, and that thing pops open and you change your fuse and you're down the road. So we put the extra hours in the research and development and in the assembly of the car to put all those things back there to save you time when you're driving the car later. Just kind of something we did. Also, by doing that, by putting that in there, that freed up the original gas filler here for a control panel. So pretty neat deal there is it gives us a few things. So first thing is this car has a power hood. So we put the control in there to open the hood, close the hood. It's all a preset deal. So you push the button, walk away. It knows exactly where to stop, where to open. It's got a few different settings for height in there. I'll kind of show you, let you peek around the 525 horsepower LS3 GM Performance crate engine. So you got, with the exhaust and everything, you're probably somewhere around 550 horsepower. You got a nice badge right here showing the National Corvette Museum logo and partnership and serial number. All that's there. Everything in here is made to look really nice, be really clean, easy to maintenance. We're not going to do sheet metal inner fenders to hide hoses and modules and things that you're going to have to get to when you drive this car. That's not the idea behind this. These aren't show cars. Everything built in this car is show car level, but it is made to where you could drive it every single day as your daily driver if you wanted to. So we got our button there, one push, lights up red there. And the hood comes on down and it knows exactly where to stop when it gets to that point. Also, we partnered with a company called C-Tech, which in my opinion has the nicest trickle chargers in the world. If you get the new Corvettes and you get the trickle charger option, C-Tech is the one that makes the trickle charger. We have our own trickle charger here, Heartland Customs Edition. And what you do is you take that cord right there and you plug that right in the car. And boom, you're done. You can actually even shut this. And the little thumb hole is where the wire goes. And there she sits in your garage until the next time you want to go cruising. So I'm going to pull this out so I don't trip over it. Put the little weather tight connector back in, and there you go. By using this, we needed to relocate the fuel filler somewhere. So you push the little gas pump, come on back here. You've got the tail light. It's all on a nice gas shock. It opens up, and boom, you got to push through. Vented fuel tank. Rick's Tank does a really nice stainless steel fuel tank for us. And then when you're done filling up, you just push your tail light down and click, and away you go. So pretty neat little feature there that we have that gives us a nice little, very easily accessible control panel to put that stuff in. Real quick, I'll show you in here. We'll unsnap this. And unsnap this, and then the chrome button here. You can see here, there's the Kalahari modern soft top that I was talking about. And then you can even see down in here where, I'll zoom in on this, there's our subwoofer. We've partnered with another fantastic Oklahoma company, Stillwater Kicker, which is out of Stillwater, Oklahoma, for all of our audio, amps, speakers, subwoofers, all that stuff. They're the best in the world, and you know, they're local too, which is fantastic, and they've been a partner of ours for a lot of years. So you know, we did a nice custom speaker grill, give them a little shout out because all the audio in here is by them. So all that stuff is built in there, and then right underneath that panel there that's removable is where you're going to have all of your electronics. So the next video I'll do will be a interior view, and we'll kind of walk around the interior a little bit, and I'll let you check that stuff out. So look for our other video on interior, and then I think our last one we'll do a driving video so you guys can actually, you know, see what this thing is like on the road.